And welcome to our first live edition of Covering the Bases, the Oak Ridge High School Baseball Show. I'm joined by the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. We got some special guests over to our right. And these are two senior guys. That's Peyton Witter on the left, Cy Stevens on the right. Two guys that you don't have many seniors, Coach.
Nope.
Three?
Three
total seniors. One of them couldn't be here today. Richie Ferreira, he'll join us at some other point. Guys, senior year. You're, I guess, over halfway through it right now. Your thoughts on your senior year, and we'll come back and talk to the old man here in a second.
It's great. I feel like it's already flown by. We're playing so many games each week, and I feel like we just started, 10 days ago, and we're already 15, 16 games in. So it's fun and it's a blast, but it's going by quick. Trying to enjoy it.
Yeah, what he said, it's going by really quick. But we played a lot of games. I feel like we've been hitting the ball really well. We have a lot of home runs this year.
Let's talk to Coach Free here, and we'll come back to you guys here in a second. Coach, this is our first time we've gotten to sit down and do a show. Mm-hmm. Basketball kind of has interfered with that, and you've had some Wednesday ball games, and I've been out of town as well. But what I wanted to do is, and I want to still do it, is have a complete team show at Pizza Inn at some point before the season ends to introduce everybody. Yeah. But I want you to kind of talk about not just the games we've played, but some of the players that you're dealing with right now, or not dealing with, that's the wrong word, but that are and maybe it is sometimes dealing with. But let's before we talk to the guys here, let's talk about preseason as you got ready for the team, your expectations into the season.
Oh, well, I mean, it's like I tell the guys every time, it's a new story, it's a new chapter. 2024 was a great year for Oak Ridge baseball, but now it's just like, how do these guys write the new story and the new chapter? So, that started early. We baseball's 10 months a year, 11 months a year for us anymore. So it's been a grind to get to where we are currently today. But there's a lot of old faces that a lot of people know, and there's a lot of new faces that a lot of people don't know. And so our program has a little bit of stability for the first time, I feel like, in my career here. I mean, like, our JV team has doubled the win total this year, and we're only halfway through than what they've done in the last 3 seasons. So, like, all those things, so we have consistency, and we have, player depth and positions, which makes it for a challenge sometimes. I mean, it's a challenge to kind of find and push the right buttons and get these guys operating at at the highest level possible. And so it's a jigsaw puzzle, but it's been really fun so far at this point. It's been exciting to watch them. It's a different caliber of baseball, and it's a different, I don't know. I guess it's kind of what we've kind of tried to envision building for a long time since, I started here 7 years ago. And now, we've got players like Peyton and Cy that have, been kind of pillars in the last couple of years to help us kind of weather the storm and get this thing moving in the right direction for the next, 10 years.
Guys, let me talk to you. Coach said something a minute ago about this being a totally different team. Last year, you guys went to the state tournament, won a ball game, beat Bradley. The first time in 52 years, I think, that an Oak Ridge team had gone to the state tournament. It is a brand new team. You lost a vital cogs to your team, pitching, and in your leadoff guy in Caden Black. Your first game was not your best game against Maryville to start things off. And I thought to myself, well, and what Coach just said a moment ago, it's a brand new team. Going into the season, did you think, we're just going to be as good as we were last year? Would that ever cross your mind, and maybe a little wake-up call in that Maryville ball game?
Yeah, I'll go. But, no, I kind of knew going into the year that, everyone's going to come after us because I don't know if you saw, but PBR ranked us, 8th in the state. And, everyone, we had a big target on our chest, and I knew people were going to come after us with their best pitchers. It's just like they come at us as hard as they can.
Peyton, after that Maryville ball game, did okay, we've got to come out and show up and play every game.
Yeah, kind of like Coach Free said after the game is he knew at some point something like this was going to happen, and you can't just – baseball is not like any other sport. Undefeated seasons don't really happen, and you're going to lose at some point, and you're going to get humbled at some point. And we didn't really know it was going to be the first game of the season necessarily, but we knew it was going to happen at some point. So it was nice that it did because it let us understand that, we need to get back in the lab, and we're not near as good as we may think we may be.
Coach, I like what they said there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly, you got to refocus right away, and they realized that right off the bat, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And, and I told them this, Peyton hit it exactly what we said. I mean, you're not going to go undefeated. You're not going to play your best every single day. But, we kind of started to say this thing, and I still try to say it as many days as possible. We got to just constantly chase improvement with this team, right? How can we get better and not worry about the outcomes of the game sometimes? And, teenagers, coaches, community, we all get caught up in the outcome. And baseball is a different animal. It's just different. Football, you have to chase wins and have to get them. And if you lose a game, everybody thinks the sky is falling. Basketball, the season's almost like baseball, so you can get away with a loss here and there, and you learn more from a loss than you do a win a lot of times. So I'm trying to teach them to just chase it, just try to get better. What does this team need to do? And and Cy hit it too. I mean, we are sought after. If you flip your phone on any social media outlet or anything, and you let that be the driving cog of who we are, then we're in trouble. We're playing the game for the wrong reasons. We're going to fall short when it really matters because we're everywhere, and they did that, right? That's nothing I've done or anything. The kids and the players have created a little bit of a spotlight on us, and that's fine. But we, for the first time since I've been at Oak Ridge, have to learn how to play with the spotlight on us. And we've never had that here. We really never have. We've always kind of been the underdog. We've always had to be the one to kind of play our best game and catch people off guard and do all that. Well, now that doesn't happen. Like every single time. And I think people are, we've played, 19 games. And I bet we've seen, this is going to be just rounded. But I'd say 14 of the 19 games we've saw and got everybody's best shot.
Yeah, I would agree. Even down in Alabama.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, one thing I was thinking when you were saying that, what I want to ask you about, as you look at last year's team and compare it to this year's team, not comparing, but what things did you see moving towards this season that you needed to work on and improve upon?
Well, it's no question. You said him. His name's Caden Black, and we had to have offensive production in his spot. Okay, that's number one that we didn't really know. Number two, he also was our shortstop, which is in my opinion, the catcher, the shortstop are the two most important defensive positions a lot of times on the field. Well, we were replacing our shortstop. We also are replacing really our second baseman that played a vast majority of the games going down the stretch in the state tournament. So our whole middle infield was open, and that leadoff hitter were the biggest question marks that I had. However, I felt like our pitching staff was going to be better long term because these two guys over here were coming back. You still have Mikey and you still have Cam. You still had those guys, and you have those four guys that nobody else in this region has four arms the caliber that we have. And so I knew we were going to be able to weather the storm a little bit early by keeping us low-scoring games. The question was, are we going to be able to find our way on offense? Are we going to be able to do that? And, I mean, I got to give a shout-out to Warren. I mean, he's playing like the Warren that I always thought he was. He's hitting, I think he's hitting almost 500. He has a crazy number of hits already. He's got a crazy number of stolen bases. So that production with Warren has equaled what Caden was doing for us a little bit. Like, he has been able to weather that storm. Noah at shortstop now, all of a sudden over the last 2 weeks, and these guys it's not just me. He has played really, really well at the defensive position. He has played really, when you watch his actions, he is going to be a high-level shortstop someday, and he's starting to find his way. We're still playing multiple guys at second. I think I told them in Alabama, I think I played more different lineups this year than I probably did my first 5 years at Oak Ridge. And I'm still trying to find my way in some spots, which is great. But a lot of our guys, like these guys and the ones that we have returning, have been able to really carry the load in some spots for us offensively. And, we've played well. We really have. And I still don't think we've played our best. And I still think I have a lot of questions that I'm trying to figure out. But I'm starting to close in on where I think where we're going to be, the end of April into May.
You guys are seniors, and obviously, Caden was probably a silent leader. I don't know. He didn't seem like he talked a whole lot. But you guys are now the senior. Are you the guys, the leaders, and what kind of leadership roles have you taken as on this team?
Let me go first.
Yeah, you go.
Okay. It kind of just depends on game to game what's needed and what situation we're in. But I think I've done a decent job of being able to help the younger guys understand that it's going to be all right regardless of the score. I think we've already came back from being down this year more than I've probably ever in any baseball or any years of me playing baseball. It's really hard to come back, especially in this sport. So to see us come back from being down and being able to not lose our way, especially later in the game, is really impressive, and I'm happy that we're doing that.
Coach, in baseball, how important is leadership from the senior class especially?
Well, it's always important, but like they said, it just transfers, the leadership transfers day on to day what's needed, and they all have different skills and traits that are needed, right? Like, so just talking about Cy and talking about Peyton, let's just use them for example. Peyton to me is kind of the steady rock. Like, he typically, when he's out of sorts, he's emotional, but 98% of the time he's steady. You know, you catch him doing the same things. He's routine oriented. He continues to do do those things, and so that's what people see out of him. And I think that really Peyton would probably argue with me, or he would probably agree with me here, that he has taken his game to a whole nother level because he has found what his routine is. So to me, his leadership is routine based. That just every day show up and do the right thing, right? Size. You know, Cy's on a tear right now offensively, and Cy, what he does too is just every day continue to try to work and try to get better in that, and taking the ball in that spot. Like, if everybody like pitching wise, Cy is kind of taking the ball in game 3 where we lost that starter last year. You know, Alex was that guy that took the ball every game 3. Cy started to do that and just weathered the storm for us and given us really every game that he's pitched, we've had a chance to win. If we haven't won, I'm not 100% sure on the stats on that, but everything. Like, so he just steadfast, consistent, always there. He's always present. Like, I've never had to worry about Cy saying, "Coach, I'm not going to be able to be at practice today." Never have. I've never had to worry about that to him. So their leadership is just like I like to use the word a pillar, which is there forever. They're there consistently doing the right things. I don't have to get on them about, you know, their grades. I don't have to get on them about doing right and wrong, or I don't have to worry about where they're at on the weekends. I don't have to worry about where they're at on an off day. I still don't have to worry about that. So they're teaching kids. They don't understand how much they're showing them, but they're showing through their leadership that way.
Coach mentioned, Cy, that you're on a tear. I think in the Campbell County ball game, you had like 6 RBIs in one game. Both of you guys have shown, and Cy, you hit a little bit more home runs last year, but both of you guys have hit some home runs this year. The power numbers are up with you guys. Talk about that, Cy. Let's talk about. I think you had a big grand slam down in Alabama, and Peyton, you've hit some big home runs too. Talk about your power numbers this year.
Really, I've just simplified it down from last year. I had 2 home runs last year, but this year I already have 2. But I'm just going up there. You know, it's my senior year. Just have a little fun, keep it simple, trust that first pitch fastball, and that's literally my mindset recently.
Peyton, you were more of a doubles, singles kind of guy last year, but you've 3? Do you have 3? How many do you have?
5.
5. Okay, I've missed a couple then somewhere. So I would assume that's tops.
Yeah. I think me and Cy are kind of the opposite in a way that he has a lot of power and he's had it, but he has to simple things down in order to find the ball. And I last year kind of was finding the ball, but just didn't have enough power and really couldn't put it out. So I guess mainly in the off season, kind of working on ways I can swing with more power while also being able to have a lot higher barrel numbers. And I think I've found the happy medium to where I can hit with power and still hit for average.
You know, in the major leagues, the strikeout rate's gone up and the home run numbers have gone up. But what Peyton just said, you know, you want to keep that consistency, like you said, batting average, getting on base, taking your walks, and not striking out as much.
Mm-hmm. Well, just staying to the process once again, like just how do they prepare for the game? You know, and I think both of them would say that they have kind of figured out, you know, what pitch to hunt. What counts to hunt in, when is it okay to try to hit a ground ball instead of trying to hit a double, when is it okay to be aggressive in your spot, how do I hit my batting practice, do I try to hit home runs in batting practice, or do I try to hit that line drive through the second baseman's hat, like a lot of those things, and they've kind of figured that out, and I think they're starting to see the numbers because of the way that they prepare, because the way, you know, I think they're starting to feel that, and that's what happens with maturity. And consistent message, you know, I've kind of consistently all year just try to tell them the same things, you know. be calm, like Cy, like, hey, less is more for you. Less is more. Just hunt fastballs, hunt those spots that you can kind of do damage. And Peyton, last year, every ball that he hit was to the right side of the field, almost every ball. And even when he hit a ball to the left side, it was almost with top spin. So Peyton works really hard. Like, I don't think people really understand how many hours that Peyton and I just go alone and we go hit to try to do that because he's hungry for more. I don't think people really on the outside really understand how much time we actually spend trying to fine-tune that. And we're talking about the next level, right? Peyton has to be ready to hit, and he has a chance to play at Milligan. He's going to have a chance to hit in the lineup day one. So how does your game translate that you're not behind when you get there, that now you have to make a wholesale change to be able to find consistent barrel, as he would say? But we have kind of found some things that have helped him do that, and testament to him and kudos to him, man. He's hitting the ball and he's launching balls. Him and Cy both are launching balls right now, and that's not only that, it's also how hard do they work in the weight room? How does Coach Day get them ready? How all those things matter when you're trying to do that, and our power numbers are way up. I mean, I'll say that we've hit more home runs already through 19 games than we've hit my entire career here at Oak Ridge.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, we have 100%.
Coach, let's go through the field here and talk about the guys you got working. Let's start in the outfield. Talk about the guys you've consistently been playing out there, and maybe some of the backups.
Yeah, so consistently our best lineup based on numbers, analytics, everything that you want to go that I don't talk to them about, that I break down every day. Our best lineup has been Cy's been starting in left field, Warren's been starting in center field, and Richie's been starting in right. So those three analytically across the board have been really, really strong for us and have proven to be our best offensive lineup. We've got some rotations that we kind of rotate some people in there based on who's pitching and things like that. But those three guys have been really consistent for us. The corners have been kind of locked down with three consistent people most of the time, Mikey being at third base, Peyton and Cam at first base are analytically our best guys. Not even close, really. They've been really, really good, and so that's been our rotation consistently. Third base, backing up Mikey when Mikey pitches has been an issue. We just lost Carson Fagan, which was been our best defender at third base. He had a patella, partial tear in his patella. He's going to be out for a couple weeks, so we're trying to find that rotation and what that's going to look like. The middle infielders, we've got a bunch of options here, and we're still trying to find analytically what's best. I believe that Noah Wood has been our best defender in the middle infield all preseason and all season, and he's really playing at a high level. Second base, we have and Carson was playing some second a lot too. He's out, so right now, lately, we've been playing, Trice has been there, Trice Sharp. Whit Reniger, a freshman, has stepped in and played a big role for us lately because Trice is really, with Peyton becoming and rolling into a starter position here lately, Trice has been is going to be our steady reliever for a while. So I've had to find another rotation in there. We let Whit, and I think he's got like 7 or 8 hits in the last 2 weeks that we played him. I mean, he's done a really good job finding his way and kind of filling that void. He has some good things about him, left-handed in the lineup I like. He can drag bunt, which has been good for us here this season, and he's been doing a really good job rolling the lineup back over to the top. Catcher, is Parker, and I think that he is our rock back there, and he's our guy that we've got to find a way to manage him, though, because he has, out of 19 games, he's caught, I think, 15 of them, and I think that hurts him offensively some. So we've tried to fill that. We've caught 2 other guys back there, and have done a really good job. We've caught a freshman, Kipton Fagan, which has been really good. He does a good job. A lot of times he catches Cy a lot of games. Him and Cy have kind of had that working relationship the last 2 starts for Cy, and it's been good for us to let Parker get him out of there. But we also, Brantley Taylor has got some innings back there as well. So his frame and his body and the way he receives is good. We're still trying to find our way in a lot of areas, and I'm pleased with how many options I do have, though.
Let's talk about the rotation. You mentioned you mentioned it already, but we'll talk about those guys and your relief guys.
Yeah, so we go on Monday every time. We go Cheeto or Cam on Monday every time, and we go Mikey on Tuesday every time. 1, 2 doesn't matter to me. I don't talk about it that. I think everybody in our whole team would say that's 1 and 1. But we do that because Mikey playing third base and the demand on his arm. I always throw him on Tuesday so I can give him Wednesday off. You know, like today, he has the day off. He doesn't have to throw today. Then Sign Peyton are our next two guys and next options. You know, Peyton typically always argues that he's not a starter, but then he just beat one of the best teams we played all year last week and went the whole way. And I think once he kind of got in a rhythm and got going, I think he kind of enjoys it. We're going to do that again this week. He's going to actually throw tomorrow night against Pikeville, and then Si's going to throw on Friday night this week. So we're going to keep rolling those, which that's 3 left-handed starters, by the way, that are really
That's
really
crazy
important.
for high school.
Then we've in our 5th starter so far. Now that Carson's kind of out, we've rolled a freshman named Isaiah Wilson, which is going to be a name to watch. He's going to be a really, really good player for us. He's going to be a great pitcher, and he's probably going to, when Peyton leaves, the goal is for him to kind of roll in and kind of take Peyton's spot, right? DH, back up first base behind Cheeto. He's gonna. That's the goal. But obviously, the goal is for him to constantly improve his game. And then we also, in the 6 games so far, we've been starting a little lefty, another lefty called Jackson Geary. He's a little freshman, and he's had to throw in some huge matchups against Prattville, Alabama, which was 19-0 when we took on them at Gulf Shores Classic. And then we threw him against Providence Academy last week, gave up 4 runs in the first, and then threw 5 1/3 scoreless on that. And then reliever guys that we've been riding a lot. Trice Sharp has kind of been the rock there. You know, he brings something different that these guys don't have. He's sidearm. He does a good job there, you know, constantly getting him better. We also have went to Ian Koth here lately, a sophomore who throws it in the low 80s. This is going to be a good pitcher for us as well. And Titus all of a sudden has had 2 phenomenal innings, so I'm going to start finding ways to continue to get him on the mound because we need it in these big weeks. These guys have said it. We've played 18 games in the last 3 weeks. It's been a grind, and we're going to continue to do that because what I learned as we got to the state tournament last year, we started to run out of pitching options, and we can't do that. If we get back to that spot and you get into that loser's bracket, you have to have 8 guys that can go win a game for you. So I'm trying to make it 10 that we're using so that when we get to that spot again, we're ready to win them.
Coach, let's talk about some of the district games, some of the games you've played. Because of our broadcast restrictions this year, I haven't been able to stream a lot of ball games. But Chandler, go ahead and roll some of the highlights from the Halls game. This is the very first district game of the year. Talk about the district this year, and I know you've got probably 4 games left, 2 with Central and 2 with Carnes, I guess.
Correct. We have 4 left. We're currently 5-1, which would put us, you know, we're all basically, we would call it a 3-way tie for first place right now. Last night, Central got walked off by Halls in the 7th, so that would put them with their first loss of the year. But, you know, Central's got to play us and Powell left on their schedule. This was a huge series win. Like, if you really look back on this right here, we went 2-0 in this series, and it will be huge, I think, looking back on there, because Halls is a really good baseball team. And they're kind of getting better. They're scoring a lot of runs here lately, and they're trying to find ways to win. So I think winning that is going to be important. Then we played, this was the opening series. Is it going to show all of them, or do I need to just talk about the rest of them?
You can just talk about all of them.
Yeah. So we opened up with them. We went 2-0. Both Mikey and Cam were really good and threw complete games, and they were dominant. I think this game right here really got out of hand late. We started really hitting the ball. I think we scored 13 runs on this night. But then after this series, we then went to Powell after our spring break trip. We beat Powell at home, and then we got beaten a 1-0 game at Powell by Tyler Early, which is their senior pitcher that we faced about 5 times. And we just, you know, that was one of them games. Like Peyton, you know, said and Si said, we did not play our best. And that's probably a little bit of us still just thinking that we were trying to use last year's confidence in this year, and that just doesn't work. And we didn't make the adjustment that we needed to on offense, and we struggled a little bit. But Mikey had like 13 strikeouts or something, and we only gave up 2 hits and got beat. So that's not going to happen a whole lot for us. But that was it. And then we went into Campbell County this week to finish up our 5th and our 6th game of the district schedule. And, you know, we went 2-0 there, and we were dominant in that way.
Yeah, Campbell County very down, actually, I think. And you put some, what was it, 39-0 in the 2 ball games? Yeah, and that's sad in itself. I kind of felt sorry for him there at the end,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. But I'm glad you all were able to pick up some big numbers. And you got a chance to play a lot of people the last 2
Correct.
days, too.
Well, that's good. But at the end of the day, they actually – they weren't making errors, but at the end of the day for them, they have 2 winnable games for them at the end of the week. And if you're doing theirs one of Peyton's, that might have been his first home run of the year.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
So with that being said, they got 2 pitchers that are, able to give them a chance to win, and I would imagine they're going to throw them on Thursday and Saturday this week to try to get it, and I don't blame them. So, that'll be our that's the last time that we'll probably play Campbell County in my career. You think about it, because we're changing districts next year, and we won't play them. So,
Well, it's kind of like all of these teams in our district, and it's like in every sport. I going through there's
it's a home run by Carson.
Yeah, he told me after the ball game that was his first ever.
Yeah, that's
And
wild, isn't it?
When he hit the ball, I thought it was going to go foul, but it stayed fair somehow. And you're up 11-1 in this game. And after these highlights, we've got the Alabama trip. I want to talk about
good.
that. Yeah.
So I think that we'll probably continue to play Halls in some capacity, I hope. Central and Powell. I think those are good rivalries and good matchups for us, and I hope that they will continue to play us.
Here we go. This is your first ball game down in Alabama. Second year in a row you've been to this tournament.
Great trip, really. I love it. I think the kids love it. I think that it's good for our team. We had a really good time, and this year we got really hot, and it kind of helped us on offense. We scored a bunch of runs. I think this whole trip we won the series 62-5. So our pitching was dominant through 6 games. We only gave up 5 runs, which is incredible. And not to mention, Peyton Witter didn't throw an inning. He was mad at me the whole trip, but I kept holding him to do it. But we just kept our starters were incredible. We really were. We had a really good trip. And offensively, we played well. We got to play a bunch of guys. Every person that went on the trip had an opportunity to get in the game. So
And you had about 30 go, I believe. It was a lot.
we had 24 go, and I was able to play all 24. So that was important to me. This is our first game here in Gulf Shores.
I wish.
And this was against Alabama Christian, potentially. Is that right, guys?
Right.
Alabama
Correct.
Christian.
That was.
We ended up taking over this game and scoring 18 runs.
It's a beautiful facility. In fact, it was interesting how you were going from field to field, and they weren't close actually.
No, they're not. They're not. Actually, this schedule was not as good, but
In terms of competition,
just because we had to play 4:30 every day, I felt like that took up our whole day. Like we never got a chance to go to the beach. Of course, the weather it looks nice here, but the wind was blowing and all those things. But baseball time 4:30 is great. Beach time not great, but that may be why we went 6-0.
Well, it's kind of funny. I asked Warren after one of these games about the trip and everything, and the only thing he wanted to talk about was some barbecue place, I think called Moe's or something.
Incredible.
That he
It was
recommended.
incredible.
I found that to be humorous, actually.
Well, you went there too.
I
It was
had, yeah.
incredible. I went twice. I thought it was that good. I went back.
You were,
So,
you were talking about Trice and his shot sidearm, and I always like to show this. It's kind of the way I guess Jacob Franklin threw as well.
Yeah, and it is super effective. One cool story. I've been doing this for 20, and I've been a head coach now for like 11 on every team I've ever been associated with the pitching staff. So like 15 of the 20 years, I've had a sidearm pitcher. So
This was the
Alberta?
Yes, and I remember when we got there, Mikey pointed out how deep the center field fence was. I think it was 420 or something like that. The
so
center.
cool story on this. They got this built from a grant. Kind of reminds me a lot of Oak Ridge. Got it built by a grant, but in order to get the field built, they had to have it big enough that they could fit 3 full-size soccer fields on.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it is so oddly shaped. It's in the middle of nowhere. But when we got there, they were, I think they were something like 14-2. So they're way better And this pitcher,
He was
a
good.
junior college commit and locally in Alabama. He was 85, 86, and he actually was pretty good. I mean, I think that we were kind of caught off guard by how good he was. Luckily, Mikey was really, really good. Yeah, Peyton, another hit right there to drive in a run.
I think the hardest hit ball was maybe the first batter, Warren. I think he had a triple to start.
Yeah, Warren did.
Yeah.
And the wind was blowing, it felt like straight in our face every day except that the next day here. But this was a really good trip. This was fun. This was a good game and a good matchup for us.
There's a couple plays that I wasn't able to put on the highlights here that I thought Trice Sharp made a beautiful catch over the shoulder.
Yes, he did.
And here we are at the
Now, this was a good team right here. White House Heritage. Now, this play right here is incredible. Si, that may be the best defensive play you've ever made in your career. This place was nice right here. We played it 2 years in a row. Fairhope, and this team is White House Heritage.
From
White House Heritage
Tennessee.
is from Tennessee, and they at the state tournament last year, right? Yeah. So this was a battle right here. They threw a good pitcher, but we kind of weathered the storm. Cy was probably as good as I've ever seen him this day. They challenged him with some bunts. He filled his position. That's a good play if we called that out right there. It's good. But Cy just kept getting better and better. Is this a home run, Peyton? You can't see it? I ain't got the TV on for you today.
Yeah, I thought it was going to hit the wall. Just
Oh,
went,
yeah.
it went over
Line
the
drive,
wall.
backside bomb. Yeah, for sure. That's where Peyton really tries to work in his BP routine, and he tries to work there.
What made you decide? How did you get connected with this Alabama tournament?
A lot of teams that I knew in the area used to go there, so I figured that I would make a phone call. Well, now, ever since that I've went, I enjoyed it. There's a size grand slam to kind of put this game away right here. Big knock. But the reason I did that is this coach at Gulf Shores High School, and now I've become pretty close friends. Cool story, or not cool. I've been to Gulf Shores to play baseball with my kids traveling and with our high school team now 5 straight years. And so I kind of like the beach area, but this coach at Gulf Shores accommodates us well. You know, like when I take my younger kids there, he gives me places to go hit. He gives me restaurants to go eat at, all those things. And so I kind of just enjoy it. And, you know, when I was at DB, every year when we made a postseason run, we went on a beach trip every year. And I just think that getting out of town, not worrying about who's there, these guys are just playing ball. I think they'll remember this forever. Honestly, if you go back and probably ask these guys what's their favorite memory of Oak Ridge baseball, they're gonna say something about going on the beach trips. And so I think it's good for our team. It's good for our whole baseball community. And it's just we don't have to worry about scouting reports. We don't have to worry about who's there to watch. We're just there to play ball.
Coach, I don't want to trump that story, but I've got a story. When I was a junior in high school playing ball at Oak Ridge High School, we went on a Florida trip, and we played a doubleheader with the Red Sox on their field. It was spring training for them. They played the first game. We played after them. That's my story.
Yeah, and you'll remember that forever. You do. You remember forever, and they'll remember those stories forever. Hanging out with each other. We also rented a restaurant patio and watched Oak Ridge in their first round game of the state tournament out there and hung out together with the families. I mean, those things are just memories that people will have forever.
Coach, we had to leave for that state tournament, so we weren't able to get the final. But you won the tournament. I mean, you won all six games.
So we went 4-0, and we only gave up in you guys help me. How many runs did we give up in? We gave up 5 total in the whole tournament, but we were 4-0 with giving up 1 run maybe. 1 run. So we got the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. There was I think there's 39 teams in the tournament. We got the number 1 overall seed, and then we matched up with a team out of Oklahoma. You guys remember their name? I don't either. But we won that game, and then we got matched up with Prattville school out of Prattville, Alabama. They were 19-0, and we dominated the game, really. We really did dominate. Gave them their first loss, so we played really well. Offensively, we played great.
Let's take a break here. I'm going to come back. We're going to talk more with the guys here, talk about their futures and the questions that you hate, Coach, and we'll ask a few of those. This is Covering the Bases, our first live show. Hopefully we'll do more. The Braves are losing again. So
Terrible.
That's terrible. It's absolutely 0-6.
I quit watching them.
Yeah, they're not watchable. But I've got to go down there and watch them live on Friday. So we'll see. But anyway, this is our show. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to talk with Peyton Witter and Cy Stevens and Coach Travis Free in a moment.
Fox Insurance Group is a local agency. We've got a great staff. We're knowledgeable. The most rewarding thing about working in insurance is taking care of customers. When they come in, a lot of times they don't know what coverages they need. They're relying on us to give them the right coverage that's going to fit their needs, but also at a competitive price. Anybody can go to any agent or they can call any 1-800 number. But getting that right agent that's going to take care of them and be there in time of need, and that's what we're here to do.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
Ugh, come on, seriously? This is so extra.
but what you could say is,
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
your local State Farm agents are available to help you online, over the phone, or in person. State Farm agents are here to help answer your questions and help you file your claim.
This is so extra.
Get with someone who can actually help. Contact me, Agent Laura Lynn Green, today.
Fox Insurance Group is a local agency. We've got a great staff. We're knowledgeable. The most rewarding thing about working in insurance is taking care of customers. When they come in, a lot of times they don't know what coverages they need. They're relying on us to give them the right coverage that's going to fit their needs, but also at a competitive price. Anybody can go to any agent or they can call any 1-800 number. But getting that right agent that's going to take care of them and be there in time of need, and that's what we're here to do.
Wow, I am not as fast as 7 when it comes to running, that is, but I'm pretty quick at selling your home. Hi, I'm Karen George of Walton George Realty Group, right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. But I buy and sell all over the Tennessee area. Give my office a call and we can help you as quickly as 7 can run.
Welcome back to Covering the Bases. We're talking about Oak Ridge High School baseball. I've got two seniors to our right over there, and I want to kind of talk to them a little bit, Coach, and you can jump in anytime as well. I was thinking about your all's names coming in, and Peyton, were you named for Peyton Manning?
No, I
No.
was not. I've been asked this question since I'm actually from Florida.
Okay.
So, but I moved here. My family moved here when I just turned 1 year old. So I've been hearing that for the past however long. But no, it's not from Peyton Manning. We're Gator fans. So
Okay, Peyton, is it a family name or just a?
they just said they didn't want to come up with two names, and they knew if I was a boy or a girl, no matter what, I'd be named Peyton.
Okay, that's funny. Cy, that's a good baseball name. There's a famous pitcher named Cy. Is that your name? Is that a
CY.
part of your name?
CY is my name, like by birth.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they named me after Cy Young.
Did they really? Wow, that's a baseball.
That's cool, yeah.
Coach,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. That's when I was looking at their names. I was thinking one of them's a football guy and one of them's got a pure baseball
Yeah.
name. Coach, what's your nationality? Free. What is that?
No clue.
No clue at all.
No, I should know more. I don't. Yeah, no idea.
Okay.
I need to ask somebody. I guess I've never met another free in my life. So there you go.
So Peyton, you're going to Milligan. Why did you choose baseball as your sport? I know you've probably played. I know you played football, I guess, when you were younger. But why did you? Maybe even basketball. Why did you choose baseball?
Kind of just been around it my whole life. My dad played baseball all the way up in college, and he's been a coach. So I've kind of just been around the game forever, and I fell in love with it, especially the past couple years. Haven't really taken it serious till I got to high school, and now I'm completely in love with it. So that's all I want to do all the time.
Before Cy, you answer the question here. Let me ask you this: I get so it's always interesting when Coach and I sit up here and I talk to somebody. Do you watch baseball other than the games that you're playing in?
Well, I'm really fortunate for these YouTube channels who have went around to high school baseball and videoed high school baseball, because I am starting to watch that. I won't watch Major League Baseball. Sometimes I'll watch college highlights, but unless it's people my age playing, I don't really get into it, I guess.
Okay. Here we go again, Coach.
It's all
So, Si, same question to you. Just why did you choose baseball?
My dad just made me play when I was younger. Fun fact, I was a righty until I was 6 years old, and then he told me I'd start throwing left-handed, so I started throwing lefty.
Do you watch baseball? Is that
Yeah, I love baseball. I love watching UT play. I'm a Red Sox fan. I don't know why. I'm from California, but I'm a Red Sox fan.
so? How long have you been here?
I went to Hardin Valley when I was in kindergarten, so 6.
So you've been here most of your life in
Yeah.
Tennessee, but you're
Yeah.
from California. Well, Red Sox fan. That's like Matthew Swigert. Why?
My dad liked Roger Clemens. You know who that is?
Of course I know. In fact, I was at a game, watched Roger Clemens hit, I forgot, Cecil Fielder, started the biggest brawl. I was at Fenway Park, and it was the biggest brawl that I've ever seen at a baseball game ever. He tried to throw one in on me. You remember? Yeah, I'm old. I saw
David
Roger.
knows every baseball player ever, I think.
Yeah,
He'll get me on one, I don't know.
yeah. Well, yeah. So Roger Clemens, do you have a favorite? Well, you don't even watch it. But
No, I do. I like the Red Sox, but I don't as much anymore. I don't really watch them, but I really like the Red Sox when David Ortiz was playing. That was my favorite player.
Tell me what's the hardest part about baseball. What is the hardest thing to do in baseball?
Physically or mentally?
Both.
Okay. Physically is hitting, for sure. I think hitting's the hardest thing I've ever tried in sports, and I feel like there's a lot of people who don't even play baseball who can agree that hitting's the hardest, if not one of the hardest things to do. And mentally, it's honestly just forgetting about what you just did. If you just failed, being able to move on to the next pitch, the next play, the next swing, and just forget what happened is probably the hardest part mentally.
So he just answered pretty well.
Yeah,
I'll let you answer that. If
No, that was very well. But one thing Coach McKeithen says I really like that's helped me a lot my senior year is one pitch at a time. Just take it one pitch at a time. If you took a bad swing last at bat, so what? You got another one. And yeah.
Why do you think people think that baseball, other than us, is not an exciting sport? Why do you think they think that?
It's a lot of standing around. It's a lot of waiting, and even when you're on the field sometimes, your pitcher starts walking people, and you're just standing there in the field baking. It's about 90 degrees outside, and you just want to throw strikes. You're getting pretty bored too. But I think that's what makes the big moments and when you're in the spotlight or when it's your turn to make something big happen. I think it makes it that much better when you've been waiting around for 2 to 3 innings. So.
Si, do you have an opinion?
That was perfect.
Okay. Coach, what do you think is the hardest part about baseball?
The mental game, how hard it is mentally, because they said it why it is, though, because you can fail in one pitch. If you can release, you can have success the next pitch. And if you don't have a good at bat or you make a mistake, it could be an hour before you have a chance to redeem yourself. Football, it just boom, 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 snap and clear. It's coming again in 30 seconds. That's why I think it's the hardest part. Now, hitting the baseball is the hardest thing to do. There's no question, but how hard it is on top of how mentally taxing it is, what makes the game so great. That's why only tough guys can survive in it.
I'm going to throw a bizarre question at you, but I do that occasionally just to see your answer. But what would be your last meal if you were condemned to die? What would be your last meal?
First.
That's hard.
What's your favorite thing to eat? I mean, that's the.
I just had a brain fart. Probably steak. I don't know from where though. Maybe my dad cooking it.
Peyton.
Mine, well, not anymore because it's kind of fell off. I would say Chipotle about a year ago.
Oh yeah, no.
But like just chicken and rice is from any Mexican place is probably the last meal I'd had.
Coach, what would be your final meal?
Me and Peyton are on the same page. I would go eat Mexican for sure. I love chicken rice, chimichangas, burritos. Any Mexican meal right now is away. But a good steak is hard to beat. So I will say it used to be I was always a cheeseburger and French fries is what I would want as my last meal. But now I've kind of, I guess, evolved that I like the Mexican chicken and rice meal.
You all have any special talents other than baseball? Can you play instruments, sing, dance, whatever? Peyton, start with you.
You want to hear me sing? I don't think. I don't know. When I was younger, all I did was play video games. So when I was younger, I was pretty good at video games. Because especially when COVID happened, all I did was sit inside and play video games all day. So I got pretty good at a couple games. But special talents or hidden talents, not really.
Si?
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm not gifted at video games. Every time I play him, he beats me. But I lift a lot. I can deadlift 495. That's the only thing I'm really.
Well, that's a talent. Coach, do you have any special talents?
I can play the drums.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a band?
Yeah, sort of. My dad, all my family, we all grew up that we were all musically talented. So my dad would always play at the church or whatever, and he played the piano, and then my brothers played the guitar, and I could play the drums. So can't sing, but I wish I could. But I can't play the drums.
Do you all like movies, television shows? What's your favorite
Movies.
kind of movies?
Movies, either thriller or horror. Probably horror movies, especially the cheesy, you know exactly what's gonna happen next type of horror movies.
They're all like that.
Yeah.
Si?
Yeah, any comedy movie. Adam Sandler's hilarious.
God, that's a good one.
Did you, Coach?
That's a good one. Adam Sandler's a good one. My favorite movie of all time is Major League.
Okay.
Same close because it's got baseball in it and it's hilarious.
Moneyball, top
Do you all like sports movies? I mean,
Yeah. Moneyball is my favorite.
My dad was in
that's good.
Moneyball.
Moneyball was a good one too. Did you all choose your numbers? Your playing numbers? Or-
God, don't get him started. Here we go.
Well, that is his number, but for me, I wore 34 a lot growing up because I like David Ortiz, and to be honest, I wanted a single-digit number when I came here, and I think do we have a 34, Coach?
No.
No, and I think anything close was like a triple XL, and I was like, I'm not wearing that, so I went with 9 because it's a single-digit number.
Si?
I've just always worn 22. My dad was 21 growing up. And I just want to be a little better than him, so I had to go one up. So I'm 22.
Coach, what was your number playing?
Well, I hate to say it because it's Richie's number, but I was 12. I wore 12 from when I was 5 until I was. I really even wore it as a coach, even when I was the first head coach. So I wore it my whole life, and that's why my kids don't wear 12, except for Mad Dog. He wears 12. He'll rock it, but the other ones want to wear 2, and that's because of Derek Jeter, which was my favorite player all the time. I always loved watching Derek Jeter highlights, and I always pulled for him. So.
Guys, if you could ask somebody, living or dead, to come eat a meal with you, who would that be, and why would you choose them?
You're first.
Pedro Martinez.
Why not?
Just his pitch style. I really like how he pitched. Like, he was a little guy. He threw hard. He was dominant. He knew he was better on the mound. I just want to know, like, what he thought mentally.
Peyton?
I think I'm gonna go with Will Ferrell. I just feel like that would be really fun. He's hilarious.
Coach, you said Derek Jeter. Would that be somebody you want to?
I don't know now. I don't know. I would like to pick the brain of some, maybe John Wooden. I'd like to pick the brain of maybe Joe Torre. Pick the brain of Bobby Cox. Just kind of ask those questions. Those are kind of now guys that I kind of read about, look at a lot, kind of read their books, read their stuff. To me, I feel like as a baseball coach anymore, I'm more of a mental shrink than I am a baseball coach sometimes. So I try to study that stuff and how to manage certain things. So those are kind of my heroes now. Like, I try to do studying on that.
You guys are still going to play, regardless of your answer on this next question. You guys are still going to play. But what do you think Coach Free was like as a kid?
A dog.
I feel like he was harsh. I feel like you definitely didn't hold anything back. Like, no matter like what you wanted to say, you said it. You didn't really worry about hurting people's feelings. You were honest with everybody. I feel like you were honest. There we go.
Honest is a good.
Yeah,
that's a
good.
good one.
I
Si, what do
could've
you
been
think?
a lot worse. I could answer it a lot worse.
Si, what do you think?
I haven't known Coach for that long, so what he said.
You know him. You've known him for 2 years now. You're afraid to answer the question.
No, I'm not.
You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Just honest.
Yeah. What was the first job of both of you? What was the first job you all thought when you were a kid you wanted to do? Like, I want to be a farmer or a fireman, or what was the first job?
I'll go. Early, it was probably I wanted to play in the major leagues, and then I kind of I wasn't liking baseball as much, and I don't know. I feel like for a little bit I wanted to be a lawyer. I kind of liked the whole crime aspect of that, and I thought it was interesting, and then I realized how much school you had to go to for that.
What do you want to do now?
I'm not sure. Probably something in business, but it's also a big decision, so kind of just waiting to figure out later what I'd like to do.
Si, same questions.
Yeah, like he said, MLB player, of course. Everybody wants to be one growing up. But then I wanted to be a cop for a little bit, and my dad was a cop. And then as I got older, I've realized it's a lot harder than it looks. So, but now, like, coming up this few years. I want to be like in business, like a brand manager or something like that.
Coach, what was the first job you wanted to do?
Oh, probably like a firefighter, something cool like that back in the day. But then pretty early, I felt like I was going to do what I currently do. I felt like when I was in high school, early high school, I kind of felt like I was going to be an educator and I was going to be around the game forever, because one thing that they would answer, I mean, however they answer, I've loved baseball since I was born. And so, like, I couldn't ever see myself being away from it. So I kind of knew I was going to be in it some way. I kind of felt like that pretty early, probably even late middle school and early high school. I knew that.
Y'all have any strange phobias, superstitions? I know baseball players have a lot of superstitions, but do you have any phobias or superstitions?
Superstitions is kind of like a game-to-game thing. Once I have a good game, I got to repeat everything I did. And then eventually I'll have a bad game, and then I'll have another good game, and I'll change that up and follow that. Phobia, I don't think it's strange, but like loose hair anywhere. Like if I find a hair, like I remember I was about 7 years old, and I had a hair and a biscuit at Hardee's, and I have not been back since.
Seriously?
I swear. I can't do it.
Well,
I don't do very good with that either. Ugh.
Si, same question.
Ask the question again. I forgot.
Phobias.
Phobias,
I don't know.
superstitions.
What is
Like
phobia
you're scared
mean?
of something.
Just
Scared
something
of.
you're afraid of.
Bugs. I don't like bugs.
Needles. You're scared of
Oh God, no! Don't get me started on needles. I can't do needles. Like I can never get a tattoo. I'm terrified of needles.
Who on the team makes you laugh the most?
It really depends, right?
Yeah, I feel like no matter what, Warren's going to get a laugh out of me when I show up. No matter what kind of mood I'm in, it's kind of I just look at him, he's already giggling, and then I'm giggling, and then he's always going to have me laughing.
Si, same thing?
Yeah, Warren or Richie. Richie's really funny sometimes, but sometimes it's like it's too much. But he's funny.
Who on the team would be, who would make the best coach later on?
I think,
Parker.
yeah, Parker. Parker already is developing traits of a coach, and he's
Is he
16.
developing the same traits as his?
Nah, he'll be better than Coach Freed.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Coach, let me ask you, do you have any superstitions?
Yes.
What are they?
Why do you think I rocked a mustache for 8 straight games? I rocked a mustache for 8 because we won 7, and I kept going until we lost. I've been on this kick right now. I wear 3/4 tights underneath my uniform every single time. I got stupid things. Like I do I'm getting older, so I got to throw batting practice to these guys. I mean, I think I probably throw more batting practice than anybody in the country. So I got this Epsom salt with magnesium in it, and every night I do that before game day just to make sure my body's right. I got to do dumb things that are weird. So, but definitely 3/4 tights. And if my facial hair is getting us wins, I keep it. And if I need to change it, I change it.
Guys, one last question. We're running out of time. Your favorite memory as an Oak Ridge Wildcat?
You going first?
Yeah, just going to state tournament. That was awesome. I know it was last year, but still, like, just getting to do that with my guys. It was just awesome. My first year here, great experience.
I think the sub-state series, those 3 games as a whole,
Sevier County.
it was like a constant just adrenaline rush for 3 games straight, and every play like truly felt like the last, because it really could have been, and we were so close, and you didn't want to mess up, but you also don't want to play tense, so you're just constantly trying to stay zen while also realizing you're probably in the most fun part of your career to this point, so it was fun.
I lied. One more question. Your expectations for the rest of the year?
I want to win it all.
Yeah, same.
Anything short is just, we're chasing the trophy, and if we chase something any lower than that, then we're never gonna truly be winners. You got to go for the top if you want to be the best.
Guys, any shout-outs you'd like to make before we close out?
My mom, my dad, my grandparents, family, love them all.
Yeah, just my family in California. They're probably watching this.
Well, I appreciate you all coming by here, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
sir.
It's Peyton Witter and Si Stevens. Coach, we only have a few minutes left here. You've got about half the season left. You've got, hopefully, I think you went to late May last year, so hopefully you got a lot of baseball in front of you.
Yeah, hopefully so. We, like we talked about the whole show, we've got pieces in place to do some of those things, but, you know, it all is matchups. It's all playing at the right time, you know. One thing that worries me right now is we've won 15 games, and I don't think we've hit our stride, and so we're really going to have to make sure we're playing our best at May, not and April, and that worries me a little bit, but that's just the coaching side of me, and so I'm hoping that we continually get better and they continually get better, and we got to get hot coming down the stretch.
Coach, I appreciate you joining us, and we will not have a live show next week, but in 2 weeks we'll have hopefully have a big show with maybe the whole team. Thanks for joining us.
Perfect. Yeah, it's great, David. Thanks for all you do. I mean, the run that we were on last year, everybody in our community knew about it, and it has a lot to do with you. And obviously, if we put a brand of baseball that people want to come watch and you're behind us, it just helps grow it for sure.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So that's been covering the bases. We appreciate Chandler in the back for pushing all the right buttons. We will repeat this show next week, so we'll hope you'll join us each Wednesday night on WBBB at 7 o'clock. For Chandler, this is David Clary saying so long, everybody.
Wow, I am not as fast as 7 when it comes to running, that is, but I'm pretty quick at selling your home. Hi, I'm Karen George of Walton George Realty Group, right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. But I buy and sell all over the Tennessee area. Give my office a call and we can help you as quickly as 7 can run.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
Ugh, come on, seriously? This is so extra.
but what you could say is,
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
your local State Farm agents are available to help you online, over the phone, or in person. State Farm agents are here to help answer your questions and help you file your claim.
This is so extra.
Get with someone who can actually help. Contact me, Agent Laura Lynn Green, today.